The video begins with a group of young people. Obviously they're filming a scene from a movie, but suddenly the person filming looks like he's fallen into a hole. He moved to another place, but it is not clear that this person moved to this place. How? You know when you are playing a game like A and suddenly a glitch occurs and you find yourself ruined outside. The world of this game is considered the same as what happened with this person, as if a glitch occurred in real life. This glitch transferred the person who was filming to the place known as the. In this video, we will talk about the series and select the series for the channel because in the recent period new episodes of the series have begun to be released, but of course it will not be useful for us to talk about the new episodes without talking about the story.
So don't forget to like and subscribe if you are not a subscriber. Let's go into the video. As we saw a while ago, the photographer was returning to Laura to take pictures, but the last step Laura took caused him to move from the real world to the early morning, and the photographer started walking inside and did not understand what was happening. Suddenly, while he was walking, he heard a voice coming from behind him, and when he turned around, he did not find anything, something. Hello? But if the cat lining, we will see something strange. It's clear he's following the photographer, and it's clear that the photographer didn't scratch his mind about this strange thing. The photographer continues to delve deeper into the wall and sees that it was not logical and broad. After that, the photographer finds a group of arrows, and when he walks behind them, he finds a group of writings and drawings on one of the walls. The drawings are a drawing of a window, and underneath them is a drawing of a washcloth, and under these drawings is written a sentence that says, "Don't move, stay where you are." Suddenly, he hears another voice coming from behind him, but this time when he turns around, he sees a strange creature with a voice. Looks like people screaming and chasing the photographer. The photographer escapes the creature until he reaches a place resembling a house of mirrors in the amusement park, but the person keeps chasing him. Until finally he descends into a hole in the ground and he succeeds in escaping from the creature, but for a temporary period. After the photographer descends from the hole, he finds himself in a place different from the one he was in and sees a place that resembles residential buildings. This may mean that there are people who lived in this place but it was abandoned for some reason, or that this place was designed for people to live in. In both cases, it is clear that this place has proven that it is not suitable for humans, they live in it. The photographer continues to try to find a way out of the pristine. He finds himself returning to the same place he started from. As he was walking down one of the corridors, he suddenly heard a voice from the end of the corridor. The photographer changes direction but hears the voice of the creature that was chasing him, so he tries to hide from it inside a narrow corridor. Here we can see the strange entity more clearly. It becomes clear that it is an object made of wires and metals as if it were a robot. Then the photographer tries to find another exit from the corridor in which he was located, but he discovers that there is no exit from the headquarters other than a hole in the ground, but it is empty. The hole was deep and the photographer would be reluctant to go down, and suddenly this is what happens. When the photographer falls from the hole, it becomes clear that the hole is an exit from the beginning, but unfortunately the gate from which the photographer came out was at a very high distance from the ground, and certainly the photographer did not reach the ground safely, but the person did not fall from this hole, because if we take the shot, we will find that the strange being caught the person before he fell into the hole, and the camera is the one that came out alone from and the evidence for this is that we do not hear the sound of the person screaming as he fell from this high distance. And this means that the camera remained in its place until it was found, and we can conclude that the video on it was found on 23/9/1996 AD. This means 5 years after the photographer entered Baker, because if we go back to the beginning of the video, we will find that the date of filming the film is written as 4/7/1991 AD. This means that the simple period in which the photographer entered the backrooms is except for 5 full years in the real world, and this will be repeated again in the series as we will see. The second video was made by Baldur in March 1990, but the video was released in June 1991 and features a series of photographs of locations in the country. We see some pictures of people as if they were employees working within the dimension, and we see a picture of one of the places in the It will be identified on a unit of rooms in red, and we know that the room or area identified in red is its name, and in the same picture we see words saying because of the difference in heights between panels 225 and 234. A small field is created. Keep this in mind because we will come back to it again after a while so that we know exactly what the dimension is. This is how the last picture appears in the video, which is a picture of a room with a gate coming out of it, and the video ends and we will know what the room and gate is in the video. In the following video, we learn about an organization called The Single in July 1988, an organization that did the third test on something called magnetic deformation, but the results of this experiment were not published, and this may mean that it failed. After that, we learn about a person whose name is This is the vice president of an organization. And we know that Ivan Beck came out at a press conference in April 1988, that is before the experiment, and explained the purpose of the experiments that they are doing, and he said that if the US government supported this project. An organization that will be able to find a solution to the problem of population density and storage in the world, which causes an increase in demand for real estate and houses. This of course costs the government $1,000 annually. We analyze this problem. It is that the eSing organization will establish or explore another dimension that has a very huge area. Humans can live and inhabit it and also store anything in it, such as factories, huge buildings, and even houses and real estate. This dimension will remain much larger than our world, and thus it will be an organization that has been able to find a solution to the problem of population density and real estate. We can connect this world through the magnetic distortion system, and this system is in the portal in front of us now, and then we will see the experiment that the organization did. But obviously the experiment failed, and we move on to the next video. The fourth video, the most recent video, is running on 10/17/1989 AD, and the video begins with a warning from the FBI, and the logo of an organization appears, and we know that the experiment or the test that will be shown in this video is test number 6, and the video tells us that all the 5 experiments that were done before it was a failure, as we saw in test number 3, which we saw in the last video, and it shows us the updates and modifications that occurred before experiment number 6. After that, the gate or the magnetic distortion system is turned on, as we saw in the last video. But the bitter result was different. We see in the end that the experiment actually succeeded, and the gate of dimension, or to another world, or more clearly an organization, estimated that it would open a gate to the back rooms on the 17th of October 1989. But before we enter the 5th video, we must go back to talk about as we saw, and we knew that the gate or machine that was opened on is a machine called the magnetic distortion system. And if we return to the words written in the picture of the loom zone, we will find words that say, because of the difference in heights between the plates 225 and 234, it is being created. And a word? What I understood from this is that there was a malfunction in the magnetic distortion device or gate, and this causes the creation of small magnetic fields in random places inside and outside. In short, these are small portals that cause people to disappear from the real world and allow them to move too. These portals were created due to a malfunction in the magnetic distortion device or gate. Video number 5 is dated 3/2/1990 AD and appears in a group of publications of missing persons of different ages and places, even that one of the missing was a 2-year-old child. But then appears a diagram of the missing cases from 1987 to the present time. As we see from the graph, disappearances increased dramatically starting in 1989, the same year that ISNC discovered the nature of what is meant by this statement that it is the reason for people's disappearance. As we said, the icing organization had good intentions and did not know that the new world that they discovered, which was the one that would be something dangerous to humans. After that, we see a logo and we see a group of employees wearing yellow suits, and it is clear that they are on an exploratory trip inside. We noticed that one of the group was holding a red rope, and it is clear that this rope is connected to the gate so that the employees do not invite in and know the way back. While exploring, the employees notice the presence of a foreign object, and when they approach it, they discover that it is the body of an unknown person and they are surrounded by spots. It's like a kind of mold or fungus, and they also notice that these fungus are connected to the openings in the wall. Then the scene cuts off and inverted speech appears on the screen. This statement says that if there is someone, let him blame it. I believe that what is meant by this statement is that if there is someone with the body of this person, then this person is supposed to blame himself for what happened. I mean, this dead person was the one who was at fault, and then the fifth video ends like this. Video number 6 takes place on 5/2/1990 AD. I mean, 2 days after the body was found in the last video, we know that the unknown person who has his body is a person named Gendo. After that, we hear the report that the doctor made after the autopsy of Gendo's body, and he says that he remembered his age between 13 and 21 years old, and he expects that the time of death was 5 days ago, but he is not sure, and the cause of death was malnutrition, meaning he died from hunger, and this means that the stars were still present for a long time until he died from hunger. But the doctor notices something strange, and it is: some parts in the body were not decomposed, but some other parts were decomposed naturally. And this is a strange thing, because any creature is supposed to die, so his body is supposed to decompose. But in the case of John's body, some parts are supposed to decompose, but in... After that, the doctor analyzes samples of the bacteria that were present on John's body, and this is a type of bacteria, and these bacteria are not. This bacteria, which is supposed to not cause any harm to something different, has turned into what caused some parts of the body not to decompose for some reason, as if it was trying to take over the body of a soldier. Is this bacteria the one that causes the appearance of these alien organisms? Or more clearly, do bacteria transfer to people who die inside? For alien creatures, or are these alien creatures the same bacteria? There is still nothing certain yet, and at the end of the report, Dr. John asks the vice president of the organization what he is. Where exactly was this body? Mr. Beck, may I ask where this subject came from? This means that although the doctor works in the icing organization, he does not know anything about he did not have any idea about the portal that was opened in Al. This shows that not all people who work in an organization know about Al because it is considered a very secret thing. Even for some employees, after that, a television scene appears showing some random pictures. Some of these pictures were of things we had seen before, and in one of them, words were written on it, and these words made it clear that this world, which is an unsafe place, and humans are not supposed to be. They are there, and I don't know who exactly said this, and at the end a picture of the gate that was opened appears. At the same time, the scene of the explosion appears as a nuclear bomb, as if it resembles a nuclear bomb, as if the scene is trying to tell us that the discovery was a big mistake and will cause destruction exactly like the nuclear bomb. Video number 7, Bacon, dated 29/2/1990 AD. The video introduces us to a department within an organization. This department is called Team 31 for Research and Development. This, in short, is a team of employees in an organization. They are responsible for. It introduces us to the magnetic distortion system, which is the gate that was opened on. It tells us that this project or science is called by the employees by such a name, such as a machine, or the door, the corridors, or the complex, all of which are names for the same thing. He then warns that no one is allowed to talk about it with anyone who does not work in Section 31, and a glitch occurs in the video after that. The video gives advice to employees that they must do it. If they enter for the first advice, it is forbidden for anyone to approach the gate without informing the officials. The second piece of advice is that anyone is prohibited from entering alone, and those who enter the back rooms must be at least a group of 3 people. Then the video cuts off and we see a video of a group of employees entering on an exploratory trip, and this is happening. Date 29/2/1990 AD, specifically at 11:36 AM, we see the employees inside, and they are a group of 4 people, and they continue to walk and explore, and suddenly the person filming hears loud sounds coming from one of the hallways.
Guys, can you nghe đây?
It is as if they are the sounds of a crowd of people talking at the same time. Of course, this makes him very curious and he goes to find out the source of the sound, but something very strange happens.
Guys can hear this.
The employee heads to the hallway to see the source of the sound and tries to call out to the rest of his colleagues and ask them if they are 70 the same sound that he heard, but he sees the employees moving from his side, and it is clear that they cannot hear him at all, and do not even know that he entered the hallway, and suddenly a malfunction occurs and all the employees suddenly disappear. The employee finds himself alone in the place. It is as if she lured this employee and separated him from the rest of the group in order to let him get lost. We see the employee running, terrified of what happened and not knowing how to find a way back to the gate. He arrives at a room where he finds something that looks like the remains of something burned, or it could be something else, but I don't know exactly what this thing is. It could be something like the bacteria that they found with the body, but this is not clear. Then the employee goes to another place and finds another room in front of him, and it was very oppressive. When he turns on the detector, he finds himself in a different place. The leaves of the wall that had trees and flowers on it are still full. Then he finds a group of farming tools everywhere, and he finds a large house that looks like a barn in front of him, but he feels that the barn can 2D with at the same time, and the strangest thing is the sound they were hearing. Then the employee found himself arriving at a ruined place. This place is supposed to be the place that is in the gate, but he finds everything changed, and instead of the gate, he finds himself in front of a strange room. The first time he sees her, the room was a door with an exit sign, and there was a large window in room D. Remember that this room looks good so that we can return to it again a little later. When the employee approaches the entrance door to the room, he places his card on the door of the room, and the room actually recognizes his card and opens. When he enters the room, he finds it full of devices and equipment, and when he does not speak, an alarm goes off in the room.
Zafir.
The seventh video ends like this, and remember what happened in this video well, because we will understand it more in the coming videos. Moving on to the 8th video. The video takes place on 5/3/1990 AD, and at the beginning of the video we see a group of employees and researchers inside the. It is clear that they are working on a new room that they are building inside, and we see cameras installed outside the room that they are building, and we know that the room that they are building inside these back rooms is a new department affiliated with an organization. What is the name of the department? We also know that cameras have been installed in different places. It is designed to work as soon as there is any movement or loud sounds. After that, we see the shots that these cameras photographed on the same day, 3/5/1990 AD. All of them are natural shots of the employees as they pass in front of the camera, and some of them are shots of different sounds captured by the cameras, like the sound of the gate closing and the sounds of workers working on the new room, but it was in a strange and incomprehensible unit shot. A doctor in which a strange black object appears moving at the end of the corridor. This body resembles a human floating in the air, or it could be one of the alien entities found in the Z that we saw in the first video. Video number 9 is the shortest video in the series and takes place on October 5, 1982. I mean, this is the oldest video we have seen so far, and the video begins with an introduction that says that this video was made in an organization called 5/10/1982 AD, and this machine appears, and this is considered the first model of the gate that will be the dimensional gate 6 years in the year 1989 as we know it. I mean, what we will see in the video, this is the first test that works, but the test this time is not aimed at opening a gate. Rather, the goal is to send something of our science to the second world, which is nature. And this thing is this little ball, and the device actually works and the ball disappears, and she definitely moved on. I concluded from experiment D that at first they were transferring things from our science too. And of course, this little ball that I don't know exactly what it is, it's not the only thing that's been transported from our world to... And that could explain the man-made things that are present in every place. And it could be that these things were actually transported from our world that is out there. And this was considered the first successful test to get to. And this is the time we go to one of the best videos in the series. For me, video number 10. The video is from 6/5/1990 AD. And we see an employee in section 31. And this employee's name is Marvin. Marvin preparing a new expedition inside the first. And we see the developments that the organization that I made inside the first. We see that the room that was being built in video number 8 is completely built, and we see that it's a room outside the main gate along. An organization is expanding inside the building, and they began to build rooms and facilities inside the building itself. I mean, instead of the gate leading to the building along, the gate now leads to this new room as if it were part of the gate, but we will notice that it is very similar to the room that the employee who was lost in video number 7 entered. This means that the employee who was lost in video number 7 traveled in time to the future and arrived in this room before it was even created, and we will know exactly how far he traveled in time when we reach video number 13. The important thing is that the employees go out to the back. The start of the trip, and we see that they replaced the rope that used to know the way back with green lines drawn on the ground so that any employee can easily know the way back even if he separates from the team. But not all places are defined by lines, because we see that after the employees advance a little, there were no lines drawn on the ground. This may be because these places have not yet been explored, so you do not walk to mark them with lines. After that, the employees arrive, the place looks like a pit net, and on the other side there was a room, and when he enters, he is very surprised. And he asks Marvin, who is the person who is filming. He goes there in the room, and you have a camera with him quickly. And when they ask him, what did he see there to be surprised to this degree? He doesn't answer them.
Oh my god, everything's okay. Sau đó được những người khởi đây.
Indeed, Marvin moves towards the room, but inadvertently stops one of the pits and finds himself in a second place inside the room. He notices that this place is similar to the other places he has seen a lot in the country, but the walls tended to be green, unlike the walls he was used to, which remained yellow. The important thing is that suddenly Marvin begins to hear a loud voice and notices that the voice of someone calling for help and asking for help while he is screaming.
Tôi không bị ê gì. Tôi nghĩ nếu ai không đó, khi anh sẽ như một người đang yên.
Marvin, walking in the direction of the sound, notices that the wall at the end of the corridor is high, and the place looks like a residential neighborhood. Marvin tells his colleagues that he is going to enter this residential neighborhood, but his colleagues are trying to prevent him from entering. But Marvin is determined because he believes that it is possible that there is someone who actually needs help inside, and he was one of the victims of Loom Zoom and Move 2, but we know from the words of the employees that they are not 100% sure about this issue of Loom Zoom, and Loom Zoom is just a theory for them. And when Marvin enters the place, he finds a very quiet residential neighborhood, and there are some. He descends on the sides of the road. The sky illuminates the place with red light. And at the end of the road is a dark tunnel. We will discuss this neighborhood more at the end of the video because I have a theory about this topic. Marvin hears a loud voice coming from the house when he arrives at the last house in the neighborhood. Hello? Marvin is curious and lets him enter the house, and inside he finds a group of signs with directions and a word written on them, but the word is upside down. Suddenly he hears the voice of the person who was screaming coming from the corridor in front of him. Marvin walks in the direction of the sound until he reaches a room where he finds the traces of a person who used to live in this place, and again he hears the voice of the person asking for help, and when he goes to the source of the sound, this is what happens.
Hey, can you? Can you repeat that?
Không, một người.
There is not a fuck person.
It turns out that the source of the sound was not a person, but rather one of the alien beings like the one we saw in the first video, and it begins to chase Marvin, but fortunately Marvin
succeeds. He returns to the same place where he fell, and at that time his colleague wears a rope so that he can get out with it, and the creature he can reach him. But what happened to the person? The owner of the things that were in the room. Is this person the alien entity itself? And after the bacteria died, you turned him into...
Nor was this being the one who killed this person and began imitating his voice in order to attract more victims. And as for the strange neighborhood, the place resembled the existing residential neighborhoods. Humans, but feel that there is something strange. The view, for me.
Images made by artificial intelligence or artificial intelligence, because images made by artificial intelligence have an upside down appearance, but there is something strange about them, and this makes us think that it is trying to imitate or create the places in our world, and it is even trying to imitate the language that humans speak, as we saw in the signs that were present in the house, which were normal English letters, but they were upside down, as if it is trying to imitate human science, but its imitation comes out in this strange way, because it is possible. It is still learning exactly like artificial intelligence. This was the theory I have regarding this topic, but until now it is not clear what the goal of imitating the human world is. I think this will become clearer in the coming videos, but we will stop here. If you want to do the second part, put a like and write to me below in the comments.